That's right. If anybody listening has used SharePoint or built an intranet or has a network drive with a bunch of folders in it where they throw all their PDFs and Word documents, you've done knowledge management. You just probably haven't done it well. And it turns out that in our new AI land, there's really three distinct legs of the stool. The first is the obvious one. We call it the retrieval leg, which is okay, let's say you have SharePoint now, or you have a bunch of PDFs in a network drive. If someone needs to find something while there's a customer sitting in front of them, how long does it take? Traditionally, it takes about 10 minutes if you don't know where to look. If you know where to look, it's easy. But if you don't know where to look, you're going to have to hunt. And the first part of that is the finding in general. Can you even find that? If it's 11 folders deep and you don't know who originally wrote that document, you can't find it in the first place. Second part is, let's say you find it. If it's a 80-page document, how long is it going to take you to read that document and find the part you need to get your job done or to answer that customer's question? Well, these are just tailor-made AI, like fastball down the middle solutions. So for the aficionados who are listening, RAG or retrieval augmented generation architectures have been around since the very beginning of Gen AI. So right off the bat, that's a win. It just turns out going from a basic retrieval or RAG solution to a good one is kind of complicated, right? Anybody can put one of these together really quick. If anyone's used Copilot, you've seen what the most basic kind of AI retrieval engine looks like. We find that those are about 70% effective, which means if you were doing it the old way, 70% is a heck of a lot better than 0% effective in the old day of someone actually having to go hunt through PDFs. But we can pull that needle all the way to the high 90% effectiveness, right? And it's like anything. Are we doing anything that's that magical? No. Are we doing this one thing? It's all we do. We focus on this one use case. Absolutely. Now, we can get that retrieval thing just smoking, meaning your people can come to our system, ask a question about whatever they're trying to get done at that moment, and get an instant answer that's completely backed up by your context. So no hallucination, no guessing, no hoping it's right. Even to the point where our system will tell the user if there's two documents that both answer the question but conflict with each other. So that kind of brings us to the other two legs of the stool. The next obvious one is capture. Right now, your people have to write stuff down the old-fashioned way. Open a Word doc, start typing, throw some screenshots in there. We can use these new AI tools to make that way easier, whether it's using your voice to capture stuff, sure, or automating capture while you're doing the task and having AI generate the document for you so you get high quality stuff much easier. When I run into customers, almost always they say, oh, great. I love that you have this engine that can let people look stuff up. The problem is we haven't written anything down because it's such a pain, right? We got you covered on both sides, right? For the more mature organizations, they probably have 1,000 or more documents they're sitting on how to do stuff. Of course. Whether it's a 1-pager or a 200-pager and everything in between. But we also run into organizations that are behind the curve and they know it. And then we can help them create or generate that content to get into the system in the first place. But interestingly, those two things, Todd, aren't the interesting part. The third leg of the stool is the analytics. And this is the part most people don't attack, which is, all right, let me give you the example. Like I'm a financial institution. I have 500 documents, let's say, everything from how to do a stop payment to what's our policy on closing a CD early and all that stuff. What you don't know as the organization is how are your people accessing that information? What documents are they using? What information can't they find? Where are those conflicts that we talked about where you have multiple documents that don't agree with each other? Where are the spots where you have subject matter experts that could be applying more information to the gaps, but you don't even know where the gaps are? So even though when we talk about knowledge management, everybody correctly thinks about finding stuff, the real goal for the organizations is the ability to have the AI tell you where you have obsolete data, conflicting data, and most importantly, missing data. And then it's just this constant big continuous improvement loop, right? Create data, find the data, figure out what you're missing, look at the behavior of your people. Like what are, most organizations, if you ask them, hey, in your team, let's say you have a couple hundred people, what's the 5 most trending questions this week? That's probably important to know. What are the things people are asking about by department that aren't answerable because nobody's created the content yet? Rinse, repeat. So that was a mouthful. I will pause for a second, but I get excited because it's such a boring, unsexy thing, but there is so much improvement to be had from organizations big and small that it's kind of hard not to get fired up.